Welcome to Follow Your Joy podcast, where intuition is the doorway to your elevated creativity, more joy, and prosperity. I'm your host, Marla Diane, and I've been living an intuitive life for decades as a creative. That translates to transforming creative entrepreneurs' lives for over 27 years through two businesses as a business strategist and a life designer. And prior to that, an entertainment publicist and talent manager. Follow Your Joy is an entrepreneurial resource for creatives sharing their challenge to victory stories through the lens of listening to their intuition. It's time to make joy your inner GPS for life and business decisions rather than lean on your logic and reason first. You'll not only be following what is most authentic for you, but you will live the beautiful life meant just for you. Want to learn how to access, trust, or up-level your intuition? Join me in the conversation to find out how. Well, hello, creatives. How are you doing today? So, when you really look at how much evolved we are as a human race compared to 10, 20, 30 years ago, I'm in great gratitude for that, right? And what I mean is what is now considered, acceptable and common and very much used. We have an abundance of healing modalities to heal our pain, remove low vibrational emotions and thoughts. Given that we live in an energetic universe, and those of you that know me, I live by a metaphysical law, have been since 2000. That's 24 years now, 25 years. Wow. And having witnessed so much change in now the acceptance of energy healings. In fact, I used energy healing along with conventional medicine when I had breast cancer, which was in 2003. And I actually created my own treatment plan, meaning, yes, I had my oncologist, yes, I had my plastic surgeon and so forth, but I also had my energy healing. I had pranic healing, I did Reiki healing, and this was in 2003, a while ago. And I don't even know how I even did without it prior to that, but that doesn't matter. What is. But yes, it's thank goodness for energy healings, and they work. If you haven't tried any, and you're going to hear from our guest today, you might want to start with her. But please, if you're not open to it, I encourage you highly to consider energy healing. So this is why I was intrigued, right? When Ragan Thomson, excuse me, not a P, reached out to me and my team to be on the show. And she's a beautiful healer using her own calling, right, to bring more harmony and alignment to our world. God, and I love that. Love that. Living, a metaphysical life and being aware of how that works for you and partners with you, it's magical. It's true. And please, everybody, those of you that are maybe just starting in metaphysics or don't even know it yet, please don't allow your brain to try to make sense of it. It won't. It's not meant to make sense because it's not of the brain. Okay, the brain will never make logical sense of it, right? All right. So I'm intrigued how Ragan uses her modality to heal us. And that's why I'm giving this gift to you today, is her knowledge. Every beautiful human needs healing throughout their life's different stages and reasons. So with that, let's give a warm welcome to Ragan Thomson.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey. This whole life. Just like you, Marla, I entered into healing myself first and foremost through the turbulence, what I was feeling inside myself, and I felt like I had hit such a pain wall. A lot going on there, but the bottom line is that I got to a point where I felt just ready to get off the roller coaster, to get off the highs and the lows, and just this feeling of peace to depression in a matter of a day, and many times throughout the day. Like, just like what was going on with my system, it was just, I was over it, I was done. And so that led me into my first kind of spiritual program teacher, and I went into spiritual teaching and healing work with this first initial group and teacher. And I just immediately saw in her eyes and her aura and her field that she had reached a level of peace within her that I said, I absolutely want to experience that.
Yeah.
I see what you got, and I want some of that. And so I felt so inspired by her light, her brilliance, and her peace, just the peace I felt from her, just speaking with her. And I went, okay, so what is it we're doing here? Because I am interested and I am in. So I spent hours and hours just going through my system and working within the realm of, clearing out limiting beliefs and forgiveness work, and really looking at any judgment in my system I had of myself, and more forgiveness and more healing and more energy work, and just layer by layer, chunk by chunk, it moved out. And like her, like other couple other healers I'd worked with and teachers said repeatedly, the reason why you're so apt to do this so courageously is because you are a healer of healers. You're here to actually help the healers heal, which often they're like, well, I don't need any healing. I'm a healer. It was to be the teacher of teachers, a healer of healers. It started to unfold gifts that from the inner work that I was doing, I had no idea I had those gifts. And so then, moving into the ability to help people energetically in a way that was pretty profound, pretty quickly. And there was so much, like this podcast, so much joy that I started to feel from the initial healing that was happening in my system. That was the primary energetic stream that I began to feel. So much joy, like the butterfly, right? Going from cocoon to the butterfly, this process that, by the way, happens many times in our life. We often go into a cocoon and then become a butterfly. But that was my first experience of feeling this like I had literally turned into this gorgeous butterfly, and I felt joy for the first time, and that was in my early 20s. It was quite a few. Yeah. Yeah.
So you literally have dedicated, see, so your background then is 20 years of this.
Yep.
20 years of this. And you're also the chairperson, of the Board of World System Solutions?
Yep. I'm serving as chairperson of the board of World System Solutions, which is really a very conscious, very spiritual organization at its core, but it's a world service organization. And from the work that I've been doing for this long, it's almost like there was a natural evolution for me to step into more of a leadership role, to not only help an organization thrive and start to become what it needs to be, but to bring in also within that organization a lot of the energy work that I brought as well, which is the beginning of this inception of this organization was very much, different team processes, meditation team, spiritual team, death and dying team, like an organization that's actually, its emphasis is towards solving the climate crisis, but seeing that the symptoms of what has caused the crisis really is the lack of this spiritual connection between all beings, the lack of cohesiveness, the division, the pain that we're feeling separate from within it. So that has been a huge, journey, beautiful journey, super powerful, not easy, just really is challenging me in every way to keep showing up. with these world servers from all around the world that are brilliant and wise and, and stay with it, keep going, even in the midst of some of the most challenging energies that are going on the planet today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What, give a little more detail about WSS. I mean, any person can join this? I mean, what exactly is, how do they deliver? How do you deliver your content?
Yeah, so the initiative of WSS is we've actually been in development of a platform. It's a big, very large, capable platform worldwide. It is a technology-based platform, but it is infused with all the teachings, all the education, all the learning that we've done so far. As you know, as much as we're like, well, I don't necessarily feel like I'm very technologically advanced, or I'm not super into all of that. It's kind of the world that we're living in, and it has the ability to be distributed worldwide through the media, right? So conscious media, it does have a ethical conscious AI system within it. We are looking at trying to bring in, a governance system to AI so it doesn't go out of control, that it is spiritual, it is organized, it is conscious. So we've been doing that work, which hasn't really been as much my piece of it because that's not my expertise.
Right.
But my expertise has been to connect with people, bring in folks who would be interested, bringing in those wise, conscious beings that would be willing to serve in whatever ways they can. What's great about the WSS, anyone can volunteer. They can bring anything that they do in the world into the mix of it. It really is just a collective space for transformation. And so whatever your skill set is, whatever you're doing in the world, guaranteed that there's somewhere for it. So there's lots of different ways to serve. And yeah, at some point we want to get as many people into the platform, connecting, collaborating, basically creating together, creating education that can be infused into the platform to create a synthesis of how we can kind of really solve some of the most pressing world problems more as a collective. So really the key is, a lot of times we have all these great initiatives in the world, but we're not coming together to work together, even though someone might even have something similar as an initiative. We're often working in our separate silos. So our goal is to take as many people who are interested to stop working in separate silos and work together and collaborate consciously.
No, and
That's a general premise.
I mean, obviously the collective energy of everyone under the same premise and goal is very powerful.
Super.
And it's as simple as it takes a village concept,
Yeah.
right? It takes a village concept. It's more power in numbers than by yourself for sure. And you pointed out earlier, even though it's got an environmental, the climate, premise to it. Where am I going with this? Everything is connected. Everything is connected. So it's not, oh, there's a problem with the environment. Oh, there's a problem with homelessness. Oh, there's a problem with, children and women and whatever you want to call it, right? But everything is connected, meaning, and you said you might want to repeat that, but it's maybe that premise, but we need to be right. We need to contribute to that wholeness, to that, if you will, oneness, to that healing, right, in our own lives every day, but also as a collective. That it starts with us.
Absolutely.
Our healing helps somebody in Africa heal energetically. Our healing helps the neighbor next door. It's a concept that some people, I think, have maybe a little challenge wrapping their head around it, but it's so true. So speak to that for a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's super wonderful what you're sharing. Yes. The overarching premise of the work that I bring as an individual healer, as far as also working within the collective world space, is all about oneness. I mean, it really is. At the core of it all we are all connected. We are connected. We are energetic, luminous, beautiful, bright light beings.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
literally made of energy and light. Whether people like to hear that or not, we have various specific energy centers, chakra centers. You can look it up and scientifically, if you are not sure about that, it is proven, it is known that we are energetic light beings. So again, depending on who believes certain things or not, it doesn't really matter. But what we can, I think, agree upon is that there is energy everywhere.
Right.
We are literally swimming
Yep.
in an ocean of energy that is like the air we breathe. And so that of which, if one can really start to kind of let that in, then you can start to feel if this is energy and that's energy, I'm energy, I am connected to all that is, right? I'm connected to the person that's walking into the room, to the fish that's swimming in the water, to the bird that just flew by. Like, I am literally swimming in this ocean of energy, and everything is kind of bumping up against itself, right? And so, yeah, our beautiful healing that we do internally, like you were saying, it ripples out. There's a ripple effect, so a lot of the beautiful work that I like to do with folks is to help them connect deeply to the center of their being, to their heart, their soul, and start to tap into the limitless nature of who they are, like that power to take the light that is within them and just let it be not only in the room with people, but send it out to the world if they so choose. Like, literally the potential for one soul to help the many in just one meditation.
Yeah.
So not everybody's interested in that. That's totally fine. Some people are more interested in just working with their energy systems. That's beautiful work. But there is, in this soul's system, what I feel is really wonderful work is to help those who are willing and are ready to start to really feel their connection to nature, their connection to the planet, their connection to others, and to, start to send that energy, start to be kind of a conduit for it. And that is such a beautiful service. I think we really don't realize how powerful we are. And we know it's not taught in school. Our parents aren't teaching it to us usually, right? Like, we're not being taught about how to manage our energy systems. We're not being taught how to manage our feelings or anything about feelings. We're not taught about energy. I mean, maybe a little bit in physics class, but in general, those classes of which are basically not in the school system should be at the top of the school system.
Yep.
And then therefore we can start to really connect to what we're talking about. And it's not going to be a strange thing or a unique thing. It'll just be what we're all up to.
Yeah.
A new plan and a new way forward where we can start to really connect with each other energetically and realize our effect on the energy of the planet, right? So that is the WSS in some way. We're really helping people to reconnect to nature, really connect to each other, right? Starting to really realize their connection to each other on a soulful, loving, beautiful level, if they so choose, right? And start to care for one another. I think at the premise, if there's a very important piece here, it's literally caring for each other. And I think that has been put to the wayside a bit on our planet. We're more kind of into ourself and our stories. And for some would say, well, how could I do anything else? I have all this stress and I have this pain. Right. So we all have that pain, right? And just depending on what degree or severity. And so how about we unify in that pain rather than separate?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just, it sings to my heart, everything that you're saying. I'm like, yep. And every day that I'm, coaching and or living my life, I'm always coming from get out of the head, get into the heart, right? In other words, don't live in your head so often. We need our beautiful minds, but when we make ourselves and allow ourselves to be conscious that there's more than just this, as in the head, it's living from the neck down is what really makes the world sting.
Yeah, that's a huge contagion on our planet, what you just described, the emphasis towards living in the mind. I mean, it's not where we're meant to live. And as far as I understand, what I've heard from not just from this person here, from research, from other wonderful spiritual teachers I've worked with, and all kinds of wonderful information I've received. As far as I understand, it's like 99.9% of all thinking is false.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's a tough one to swallow. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but meaning that the thinking mind, all that thinking, just think.
Yeah. Yep.
So, is any of it true is the question, and where is it taking you, and where is it guiding you, and how much of it is getting you into challenge, or how much of it's causing you to feel stress or pain? No, the beautiful gift of finally getting that and dropping into our hearts, right? And starting to literally live and lead from the heart. I mean, that's some of the primary work I love to help folks with. Like really just, they're like, well, how would I do that? It's like, well, you really, I mean, it literally is a practice of dropping in, really starting to, right? And prayer and meditation, whatever it is you're choosing to bring forth,
Yep.
is really starting to learn to practice. It's a practice to stop, just to drop in, to breathe, to relax there, to start to let yourself live there. And then our mind is utilized appropriately by the heart.
Okay.
It just kind of sends energy up and says, okay, we're going to be creative. We're going to do this thing. We're going to, but not that the mind is the master of us, right? We're here to be, the heart's to be the master of the mind.
That's the master. That's right.
Yeah.
And scientifically, the heart is the very first organ that is created in, incubation, if you will, and then comes the mind.
There
right?
you go.
So, oh my gosh, I could talk forever on this because I mean, these are the things, yes, that I teach as well and live by is that, and that's about the intuition. That's about, letting your heart, letting your intuition lead and your mind to follow that guidance, right? Which is essentially what you just said. And it just would be amazing if people, make an effort to learn that consciousness, to learn that awareness. So at any given time, as you're thinking something, ask yourself, is that really true? Right? And what I'm thinking right now, or what I'm judging right now, is that really true? When you start kind of walking through life. So what I always kind of say at that moment is drop into your intuition and ask. Get out of your head. And that's also how I begin all my meditations with clients is I ask them to move from your head to your heart and out of your head space and come from there, because that's where really life happens. And our beautiful brains are there for a good reason, but they're not to be meant to be used in the way, and often in the way that we tend to use it. So, yeah.
What you share is so empowering. It's so empowering to help people in the way that you're helping share with them, and and the work you're doing. It's so beautiful because, as you can feel, unless that's happening, there's almost this feeling of being kind of guided or ran over by these other energies and told what to do and how to feel and where to be, and like some voice outside of me is saying you need to do it this way, and you're like, I don't know why, but I feel like I have a constant parent or something critiquing me and giving me a hard time, like, and literally like a taunting voice that's like, go here, do this, and you're like, I don't even know. It's like, so it's so empowering to learn about the intuition and learn to drop in and to listen and know that we are always being guided so lovingly. We really are. And someone say, oh, you're intuitive, that's why you're able to do that. No, we all have intuition. We all do. It's not a special thing. Some folks might be a little bit more awake to their intuition, a little bit more listening more, intently, maybe work more in the healing realm. But everyone has an intuition, we all do. And I think that's, again, one of those kind of, let's push that over here. Nobody needs to know about the intuition at school. Let's not talk about that. Let's make sure that we keep them listening to the media and listening
Oh
to
my goodness.
being entrained by these voices, and like we're like, oh, I need to buy this and I need to be this and I need. So yeah, our intuition will help, I think, schleff off. I'm not sure what the right word is, to
Yeah.
let go of the kind of extraneous of what we are not.
Yeah.
Like we start to let go of like what we're not and start to live as who we are truly, right? And I think if there was a way to describe, healing work, if there's a way that has been the way I would describe it, what it really is, it's the calling of your true divine self to come forward, who you really are, the remembrance of who you really are. And it's beyond the flesh, it's beyond the form-based reality, it's beyond all the fears and the worries and the doubts. It's all of that healed enough that all that is shining forth and through is your beautiful soul self. And you're just, if you so choose, it can emerge in human form while in a body, which is, of course, with time, with enough work, and we're all in the same direction as far as I understand, eventually leads to the path of enlightenment. So our work is to clear that stuff out so that all that is our light, right? That's, no different than any beautiful being that's ever reached those higher levels of attainment. We're all headed that same direction eventually,
That's right.
So it's, no one's special, no one's unique. It's just we haven't been taught it appropriately so that we can live on that, that type of plane together, that plane of understanding and growth and evolution that feels nourishing, and other people are up to it and they don't think you're kind of weird, and you're like, well, no, I'm not weird. They're like, you kind of are. I don't know what this, like that will end, and then there'll be more of this collective doing this together, because really so strange, really. It's just,
Well, I mean, that response is from the, the generic industrial age school system that we have. Um, there are, charter schools, there are special art schools, and I know there's one in the South Bay here that's fabulous. It's for teens, and it's from an actual, it's like a gallery, and they have classes around for teens, meditation, everything we're talking about, and teaching them this stuff. But wouldn't it be amazing if it was curriculum in the everyday schools? We didn't have to go search for it and outside of it. Because our, thank God we have a school system, but I think we all can agree it's very archaic.
yeah.
Imagine teaching children at, kindergarten, first grade, how to listen to their intuition in school instead of making sure that they know the history of whatever.
Oh,
I know. I'm like, that's why there's a challenge when you give the example of somebody looking at you going, what? What are you talking about? It's like, well, we were taught that at an early age, we would grow up knowing it was normal.
yeah, you're right. There are some schools, I have children and they are going to a school like that.
Nice.
It's the Waldorf school system. And they are definitely more holistic, wellness oriented school, much more connected to nature and art. It does exist in the world, and at this point, it's a blessing to be able to find it. It's not very common, and to be able to make that happen for folks, they make it challenging, right, financially even. So it's definitely getting to be, though, where there's others. I do with the WSS, we do some exploration. We talk to people worldwide around education, and there are some really beautiful programs worldwide in different countries. We're learning about so many wonderful things that are happening with this expansion of knowingness of what we're talking about, and bringing in, more of a holistic based school system. And I think some other countries are a little bit more advanced in maybe our country. So it is happening. There's hope that we have. I really feel like we're in this crossroads, this beautiful moment in history of humanity that's just so precious, that I do think that we're just about to kind of cross over to this being more of the way forward. And we just have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do to courageously stay with it, and not falter and not say, okay, well, we'll just do it the way we did it. Because I think right now there's enough people that are like, no, it's not working.
That's right.
It's hurting my kids. The media is hurting my kids. The social media, they're not, there's more, I think the suicide rate is up a big time right now. And, the bullying in schools, and people are like, well, what's going on here? Something's going on here. So there's that type of, unfortunately, sometimes, and the way it is, pain as being our teacher, our excellent teacher, to say, this isn't working. Do you guys see this? And so there's an awakening of folks going, what is going on here? And can we change this? And there's more people stepping up, I think, and saying, yes, I do want to help. I want to make this change. I care about my family. I care about my children, and they are clearly hurting, and it's our hearts go out to the children, our hearts go out to the teenagers, especially right now. I have teenage girls. And they are we have raised them as conscious as we can. I have, 3 teenage girls right now and a boy. And they are doing just as well as they can with even more conscious parents. I mean, they're still in a world that is just really eagerly trying to bring them to going to sleep again. Oh. So, it's our job to keep kind of waking them back up and be like, no, this is the boundary, and we aren't going to do this with social media. No, we're not going to keep the phone on, and we are going to turn it off, and we're not going to get a phone and, just be like, oh my God, so, but that takes work. That takes monitoring. It takes conscious parenting. Yeah. So I think it feels like there's a nice shift happening. I feel there's more folks coming together, and it's changing for sure.
Well, and like I opened up the show with is, thank goodness, we are evolving as a human race. My God, we're far different from 10, 20, 30 years ago, for sure. Mm-hmm. But we still have a ways to go. Right? When it gets into the school system, now I know we've arrived.
That's how yes. If schools start to take on the curriculum of more holistic wellness.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, our planet is really.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same thing with holistic medicine, is that there's such a difference between Western medicine and holistic medicine. It's like, well, yeah, we're a whole body here. We're not just a symptom. So anyway, I mean, there's a place obviously in our society for Western medicine and for holistic. Just would be, amazing to see the two come together. So talk to me then about what brings you the most joy and what you do in your business.
Well, most joy is helping folks. I just love to serve, watching people from the work I do feel more at ease, more at peace. They have the big smile on their face, like, oh my goodness, like I'm smiling again. And it's not just occasionally, it's pretty consistently. I'm starting to feel purpose in life. Often I feel like this work of healing, helping someone, they start to really step in to their way to serve themselves. And often it brings purpose and meaning and depth to life. So yeah, I mean, there's been times where I've served and helped in this way, doing healing work with folks in groups, retreats, or individual or world work. And there's moments where like, oh, I need a moment of reprieve. Let's just take a week, to create that balance. And then take a few days and I'm like, oh, I am ready to go again. Like, cause I see just that moment of break is wonderful. And then that joy that it brings me, it's like, it's innately a part of my being. I can't not serve. So, right. And, right. Like whether it be with the day-to-day, just the moment in the store with someone opening the door and having that interaction, that soul to soul, or with the children, or with facilitation with folks and healing work. Yeah, I think that, joy comes from within me now, whereas it might have felt outward before. Mm-hmm. And now the joy is like a energy that's just felt kind of consistently just by being of service, just being with folks, just how can I help you? How can I serve you? And I feel like I receive a lot from that. And I also know that receiving is a part of that and other ways as well. It's not just through giving. So it's taught me everything about that dance between receiving and giving, and that beautiful dance to me is a joyful dance. Yeah, that's what I feel.
At my spiritual center where I go to services and take classes, it's a metaphysical, church. And I loved this, the minister's message. It was just about a month ago, I think. And it was about the joy within. And the whole premise to his, um, you know, sermon was, and I hadn't really thought of it this way, and it completely changed everything for me. And it's like, well, of course. Why didn't I put those two together? Meaning, we don't, and this is to what you said about joy outside of yourself. We we have joy in us. It's
Mm.
part of us, like our heart and our lungs. It's not something you get from the outside. It's
Mm.
something that you have within you, and nothing from the outside should be the dictator of that.
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes.
can bring us joy, for sure. It can ignite more joy within us
Mhm.
when we help others, or when we connect with someone, or we receive love from someone, whatever it is that brings us more joy. But I believe that many of us, including myself, was thinking that joy came from a very conscious way of operating in the world to receive joy
Mhm.
from what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Whereas joy is always there. It does not go away. It's just us reigniting it, feeding it, knowing that it's there, because we're connected with one. We're connected with higher power. We're connected with source,
Yeah.
which is joy. It can't go away. It's there.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah. Said.
beautiful on that.
Very
I'm
on.
mhm. I'm curious, when you were kind of explaining, and then we'll go into intuition. When you were explaining that, in your 20s is when you made the change, what was the catalyst for you that went, that's it, I am so done with this emotional roller coaster? Was there something that happened to you, or just an accumulative of events that finally sent
Yeah.
you on the edge?
Yeah, no, there was accumulation over the course of time. Loves, losses, a challenging relationship, an eating disorder that was completing. I was really had a pretty serious illness for a while. You know, Dealing with depression at some point and suicidal tendencies. I definitely felt, at my lowest point, actually a little bit before I found the healing work aspect of things. I kind of went through my lows and still kind of got through it on my own. I was doing my own practices, and I had a strong will to keep going. I've always had a very courageous, you know, I love this world. I love love. Like, I don't know what all this is, but I'm going to stay. I'm going to keep believing that I'm supposed to be here. And I had some really tough experiences, and somehow, I was still there. I was like, well, then if I'm still here, I mean, I must need to be here for a reason, right? So, really being protected, a couple kind of serious car accidents, right, and get a scratch, just like really feeling very protected divinely, like really like Spirit's like, okay, we're ushering you along.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, come on, like it's time to do your work. And I was like, really, what is this work?
Yeah.
And so I kind of hit like I said, I was starting to do enough work with some spiritual kind of group type work, and then like retreat type work. And that was good and it was helping me keep afloat. But it was when I really got my first spiritual excellent teacher. I really dove deep. And then I went, now I see what this all was. And I had an accumulation of a lot of years to work through, but it's okay. I mean, it was almost like I was unwinding out of that. So yeah, that's pretty much
Mhm.
what happened. I really felt something kind of click inside me. but like that moment of like, no, it's time to get a teacher. It's kind of get like a really solid help. Unfortunately, my very first call I made was with a brilliant angel. So
Nice. Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, in other words, our listeners have probably hit any one of those, times in their life.
Mhm.
Eating disorders, depression, etc. I mean, it's what's personal is universal, that. So I appreciate you letting us know and being vulnerable about that. And it's always in our kind of lowest times when we transform, right? I mean, it's the calling. Some may miss it, and others will take the heed of the call. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So awesome. Good for you.
Sometimes we can, absolutely. I believe now I have a really beautiful relationship with pain, like discomfort, and I see it as a natural ebb and flow of energy. People obviously don't like pain, but I see it as being like a natural process of what moves through once in a while. And at the time, I didn't understand that, so I was resisting it and I was reacting to it, and I was like, ah. So I was afraid of it. So if we can get really good with our relationship to that discomfort of the natural byproduct of being human and like having, an auric field and energy centers that sometimes have past unresolved pain and wounding in there from this life or another life, depending on your belief system.
Yeah.
And we're kind of an amalgamation of all of that. So occasionally you're going to have a little chunk or a layer of something moving through. I didn't understand that. So again, why it's so crucial to start bringing us into children's lives at an early age so we can understand it. We can start to have a good relationship with pain. I did not have that in my early years. So once I started to really go, oh, my pain's not a problem. It's not trying to hurt me. It's just here to teach me. It's my teacher. It's encoded with lessons. That has been such just like crucial work for me to learn so that I can share that with folks in the world.
That's part of your specific healing modality.
Yeah, I do. I'm an intuitive. I do all kinds of healing modalities. Honestly, I bring in whatever is required for someone's system. Yeah, it's in the moment. It's prayer work. It's meditation. I'm a meditation specialist. I do lots of forgiveness work. We do subconscious rewiring work. Really, it's a lot of light work. It's a lot of light being brought into the system from source. And then I direct it and they learn to direct it. And so it's starting to purify the chakra centers, realigning them. It's really just beyond, like you said, comprehension of the mind. I think I'm just serving as a conduit.
That's right. Yeah.
So who knows what will happen in a session? So what are you doing in there? I'm like, I don't know. It is working really beautifully. And there's a lot of that come through. And I do really enjoy emotional freedom technique, doing EFT, tapping. I do a lot of tapping with folks. So definitely doing a lot of deeper purification oriented meditation work. I help guide people through a longer process of moving through different layers of their system. And so, yeah, just all kinds of wonderful things come through in the sessions.
Cool. Love that. So tell us then a quick story on how you obviously used your intuition, that you followed it, and this is all part of the joy equation as well, but you followed your intuition and obviously you created a positive result, and I'm going to assume it's something different than what happened in your 20s.
Yeah, I believe my intuition has led me to all good things,
Yes.
I wasn't really following my intuition before my 20s.
Yeah.
I think I followed it enough that it got me here to be living at that point. I mean, that was by the hair of the skin of my, what is that expression? Like by the hair of my skinny chin. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's just barely, right? I just got through, just Spirit was like, oh, thank God she made it. My angels, whoever, they're like, oh, she's here still. So, but after that, my intuition started to grow and develop and become my greatest resource. Really feeling so loved, so guided, and leading to a couple new businesses that were great, and my husband, and finding my beautiful partner, and having my children, and having a beautiful family, things that I really didn't see necessarily be in my cards if I had not listened to my intuition. And starting my spiritual business, and then starting to get to help people. Like, I really think that my intuition as an intuitive has been really my greatest gift, right? The greatest gift that I could ever experience. It's helped me. I used to do a lot of workshops around the manifestation of one's dreams, and and I was like, okay, let's start off at the beginning, and I did a lot of work with that. And it became true. I saw a lot of manifestation, instant manifestation work in my own life. That's lovely. But what most important was joy. That's why it's so great that we're here together, because I literally began to feel great. That's all great. That outside of myself. But what I really began to feel was at peace and joy inside myself. And I think there's nothing outside of myself that can replace that.
Right.
It's just been such an extraordinary blessing. So really all the form-based manifestation, it's like some point it's like, well, that's all kind of looking pretty good. And it was like, but I'm still feeling something off here. So it taught me that no matter what this looks like out here, it's here that is what I'm interested in learning about. It's here of which I choose to become as consistent and constant with as possible, and see if I can remain there and not leave, and that's been kind of my little, overarching intention,
that's your litmus test.
Yeah. If I've left here, what is it out here supposedly has activated that? So I look at life kind of as a sounding board, or a way to just kind of see what remains within me.
It's such a safety place, to go into your intuition. It always feels like, for me, always feels so well taken care of.
Yeah.
I get my peace. It's where I get my center. It's just like, okay, just quiet down, Marla. Just quiet down, get away from the computer, get away from whatever, and just go within. And it's connecting with that intuition. It's just beautiful. So, okay, let's finish this up with you have some good key advice about being an entrepreneur. What is that for our listeners?
Yeah, well, first off, I mean, this work, right? Just this inner work that we're talking about. It's really this, all of it's kind of an inside job. We're like, oh, it's about the job. I'm like, well, it's kind of about the inside job that creates the job. So I think we've got a little bit on its backside here on the planet, right? Like, oh, it's about here, it's outside of me. No, it's really what's going on here. And so the times that I've had joy and productivity and efficiency within any of my business or entrepreneur work has been because I've done the inner work first. So whatever that looks like for you, I highly encourage even just a few minutes of meditation a day. You can literally set an intention to bring your business into the meditation. Literally, like, what is it? What are my fears about this business? What am I concerned about? I think a lot of times we're thinking, oh, it's going to fail, or I'll be a failure, or oh no, what if I don't prove to the world that I can do this? And what if I lose all my money? Like, let yourself go on the what if fear journey if you'd like, oh, what if I do this? And what if then I'll be on the streets. It's like, oh my goodness, like, who knows where these fears might want to try to take you. But let's bring those into the light, rather than having sitting in the inside of yourself, just kind of hiding. My work is to help folks bring it out of their bodies. Like, I do have this fear. I do have this worry. Oh, is it even true? Is this happening now, or is this something that is projecting into the future? Like, really be brave and let that stuff come out. And so that if you are creating a business, if you're in the middle of a business, that's kind of like not maybe going to happen today. It's a part of your day. It's a part of your business. I mean, I love, most of all my businesses have included meditation as a group. We do visioning sessions together. My current business, we do meditation together. I'm checking in with my team as in like, how are you? How are you doing? Like, it's not just let's get to work. Like, let's test the let's check the temperature of where everybody's at, and then like meet each other in our hearts, right? Like move out any of the ego process of trying to achieve something to succeed. I've noticed that when that stuff gets moved out and that all gets super real for folks, it's like there's much more space for what is to come in can. So it really feels like a lot of that unconscious kind of subconscious fear, worry, doubt, insecurity, whatever you call it, it tries to fill the space of the productivity more than you know, right? And if it doesn't, you're possibly being motivated by it. So then what are you creating? Right? So once you remove that, then the creation process, once again, I think it starts to come from who you truly are. It comes from your joy. It comes from inspiration and creativity. It doesn't come from pushing yourself and achievement and fear, right? And it's like, yeah, someone's like, well, fear motivates me. I'm like, well, yeah, I bet it does. I'm sure it really does. It motivates you, but what are you creating from that fear?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. And that's our beautiful brains trying to convince us that we love it.
We need it, right?
The brain is just, that's the brain. The brain is a critical thinker. It's about logic. It's about predictability, and it's going to tell us, oh, you're motivated by fear. No, you're not. No, and that's where I go, no, you're not. You're not motivated by fear. That's what your brain is telling you. You dropped into your heart. You dropped into your intuition. It will tell you something different.
Yeah. Check into with what is it that truly is why you started your endeavor and why you're excited about it. And really, if you need to do it daily, do it for 5 minutes. Like, don't let the brain, the mind tell you what you're doing.
Exactly. That's it.
So like really trying to retrain yourself to not allow that.
Yep.
And that takes time sometimes. Some people have a very busy mind, right? And I used to have a very busy monkey mind, as they call it.
I know. We all.
I know, right?
About that monkey mind.
I mean, if I can feel my monkey mind, anybody can. I mean, I was on a roller coaster with that. So, but yeah, with meditation and clearing work and energy work and breath work and just journaling, and it started to clear.
Yep.
So anyone can do it. It takes a little bit of discipline, and I'm doing this, and this is a part of my life, and I'm not going to let myself be ruled by this mind-based chatter anymore.
So important. Important to know the distinction between what is my monkey mind, my ego mind, and what is my, intuition, right? And again, questioning and being in that mode, that awareness of, is that really true what I'm just now thinking? I mean, it's constantly being in that awareness that, your truth may not necessarily be the truth.
Exactly.
Anyway, so fabulous. So essentially what you're saying is, to be an entrepreneur, whether it's the beginning or further down the road, always look to the inner work first. Yeah.
Or really any decisions or choices, honestly.
Amen, sister.
Thank you.
I love it. So where can people get a hold of you? What do you have to offer my wonderful creatives?
Okay, great. So I do have a website. I have all kinds of wonderful things on there. It's raganthomson.com. And my team was like, you got to let them know about the 21 days of journaling. Okay, so if you sign up, I do have a beautiful free 21-day of journaling prompts. It takes you on quite a beautiful journey. I've heard some remarkable stories about when my clients and folks that really engage in that full 21 days, it's quite transformational. A lot of change can happen in your life just from that. So that's free. And then on my websites, all kinds of resources, meditations. I used to have also a podcast show, so my podcast is on there. And I've held events and I have classes online and all kinds of things on the website. You'll see a lot of resources there.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to download that journaling. Oh.
Good.
Fine. Great.
Yeah.
Always a lifelong learner. It's like,
Oh, for sure.
it's like
Wonderful.
terrific, terrific. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. It's been such an honor and a
Mhm.
wonderful joy to be with you. This has been a great interview. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Like I said, I was really, looking forward to sharing this knowledge with my audience. So everybody, all right, you heard this was, look, I'll admit it was a really great conversation. Right? I'm hoping there was a lot of triggers for you in a good way, right? So that you kind of, take a step back, listen to what Ragan said about various things about you, the world, the causes, why this, that, energy, all of it. And I really aspire for you to do that. And as you know, in my world, is that your intuition is not your sixth sense, it's your first sense. That's how I aspire for you to live, right? So with that, everyone, you have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world, and be well and be blessed. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care now. Bye, everybody. Hey, thanks for listening. You can find more entrepreneurial stories and resources at marladiane.com. And while you're there, enjoy my free downloads to uplevel your business and your life. And Instagram. It's my favorite place to hang out. Let's connect there. If you received inspiration from the episode, I'd sure appreciate a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. Until next episode, take care.